right? Week 1's finally here, guys. NFL Sunday. Oh, man, I cannot wait to just watch football all day long. So, yeah, I'll be live for about 30 minutes here answering any questions you guys have. Again, live stream style is going to be general, just Q&A. So leave questions in the chat. I'll give you guys my answers, specify if you're playing cash or GPP. News to go over, I guess one piece for the 49ers, Trey Sermon out, so or surprise inactive, so maybe a slight boost to Mostert. Now, historically, San Francisco does like using kind of a committee in the backfield, so JaMychal Hasty, Elijah Mitchell might get some carries. So does it boost Mostert that much? We'll see, right? I would assume he gets a little bit more work, but again, they still have a couple other backs they can go to here, so not like slate changing at all. Like, I'm not going to go jam in Raheem Mostert into every single lineup of mine now because of this news. It really doesn't change a ton. Also, Zach Moss is inactive for Buffalo. Again, doesn't really do much for me. Buffalo in general, they just don't run the football. Don't really think it does much Singletary either. Matt Breida is probably going to be the guy that works in now too. So, yeah, those are really the two kind of surprise pieces of news. Oh, we'll go over Saquon too. Wasn't even on Saquon, but yeah, they're going to use him in limited fashion. So, absolutely no interest in Saquon Barkley. And then Eckler is full go. I think that the questionable tag might lower the ownership for him. He's already going to be low on, so I don't mind him as a GPP play. I think that's all really the main news to go over, guys. But yeah, if you're just coming in, if you could leave a like button on the video or the live stream, and make sure to hit that subscribe button. And yeah, leave some questions in the chat, guys. Let's do it. All right, let's get into it. Let's see. Thoughts on lower owned QBs, like rookie QBs like Mac Jones or Trevor Lawrence, to save salary and spend up at wide receivers and running backs. I mean, the issue I have with Mac Jones and Lawrence is not a lot of rushing upside. Mac Jones in a game that can be pretty ugly, that Patriots-Dolphins game. Lawrence, I think, has a little bit more upside, but he's just at like a price point. He's at like 6'2", right? Yeah, it just... I don't love doing that week 1. I think there's other ways you can get different, so probably not for me. If you line up with T-Mobile, yeah, I mean, I actually don't hate Tyrod Taylor. I'm not going to play him this week, but I get the play, right? He's a guy that does have rushing upside. Not the best passer, but he doesn't need to be at this price point, right? And this is a game both teams should be pretty bad defense-wise, so I do get the Tyrod Taylor play. If you're a punting quarterback, I think that's fine. Yeah. Yeah, it allows you to get a lot more in, right? What's up, Samuel? How's it going, man? Let's get it. Matthew, what's up? Let's see. What do we got here? Cook and Higgins or Mixon and Diggs for cash? That's a good question. I think it's going to be the first one for me, but I like both options. Thoughts on Wilson stack with Davis and Moore? Wilson stack with Davis and Moore. Wait, what do you mean by that? Russell Wilson stack? Clarify that. Cash, Hurts, McCaffrey, Cook. Yeah, that looks pretty solid. I guess the one thing I'll say is Antonio Gibson and cash. I don't know if I love going to him in cash, at least right now, because they still have McKissick. So that, like, I'm fine with Gibson and GPPs. I don't know if I go to him at cash games though. Panthers defense. So what's the Panthers price? They're 3.6. I'm probably not going to do it. If I'm going to spend up a defense, I would just rather go to the 49ers, right? Detroit is going to be pretty bad. I would rather spend all the way up for the 49ers. But for me, like, defense is such a high variance position that, like, most of the time I don't really even consider the defenses up here. I usually just try to go to a cheaper one and punt and hope they don't kill me. So unless there's just like so much value that I have like extra salary, I usually just spend down a defense. So I'm probably not going to go to the Panthers defense. I get the play, but they're pretty expensive. Allen Robinson or Robbie Anderson. So Allen Robinson obviously isn't on the main slate, but I guess it's just like straight up. Probably still Robinson for me, even though it's not the best matchup. How do you feel about Ertz? It's a good question. I actually kind of like Ertz today as a lower owned tight end. He had one injury plagued year last year, and everyone kind of just quit on Zach Ertz. I think he still has some upside. Obviously, he's not super young anymore. He's like 30, 31, but I kind of like him here. This game in general, there's just a lot of good cheap options, and neither defense is going to be great. And Philadelphia likes going to their tight end. He's $1,000 cheaper than Goddard, so I think it makes more sense to go to Ertz than Goddard. And yeah, I think he's a good GBP play at tight end. I don't think he gets a lot of ownership. All right, where are we at here? Fave 3 min price wide receivers. There's so many. I don't know if I have like a favorite 3. There's so many guys we can go over. Yeah, I don't know if I have 3. I don't know if I have like 3 favorite. Sup DK? What's going on, man? Jalen Hurts looks like the best deal at quarterback. Yeah, I think Jalen Hurts looks really solid, right? He's at a nice price point, kind of in that mid-range, and he's 6'4". This game in general, again, I think it's going to be a shootout. He's got a lot of rushing upside. I think he looks really solid. Thoughts on Marvin Jones Jr.? I think he's a really, really solid play, 3.6K. He's probably going to be one of the more popular cheap wide receivers, but I like it. He's full go. I think, again, Houston defense not going to be great, and yeah, I think it's too cheap. So Marvin Jones Jr. definitely one of the better cheap options. I wound up fading the Bills a little. Talk me out of it. I want to fading the Bills. Fading the Bills is fine. You don't have to have Bills exposure. DK or Diggs. Like the matchup better for DK. I think Diggs might be a little bit safer though. I'll say DK for tournaments. With Seattle, obviously, one of DK or Lockett's most likely going to have a really big game, but it's just below. I don't know if I have a favorite. I don't love really punting at tight end. There's a couple viable options. You have Coughlin from Minnesota with no more Irv Smith. He's at 2.9K. I think that's fine. I think Dan Arnold makes a little bit of sense at 2.6K. I don't think he's going to get any ownership. But I just think there's so much wide receiver value that punting tight end, I don't know if it makes a ton of sense with it getting, it's pretty easy to get up to Kelsey or Kittle or these guys in this 4K range. I just think look a lot better. So I'm probably not going to punt tight end. What do you think about Baker Mayfield today? He's just kind of just there, right? He's in a game environment. They should be playing from behind, high total game. I think he's playable, but not really someone to go out of my way. Darnold in play, sure. I think you can make an argument for almost every quarterback in the slate. Darnold might be a little bit overowned, actually. I've seen him talked about a lot today. So if he does end up getting a decent amount of ownership, I don't want to play a somewhat popular Sam Darnold. Kareem Hunt run back today. I don't love his price. He's 5'5". Probably not for me. Devontae Pittman, Elijah Moore. Okay, so I'm guessing that's Devontae Adams, Michael Pittman, and Elijah Moore, or Keenan, Allen, Corey Davis, and Marvin Jones. I think I like the first one a little bit more. Zach Wilson probably gonna. Zach Wilson. Okay, I thought you were talking about Russell Wilson. So, you're talking about stacking Zach Wilson with Corey Davis and someone else. I have to look back up at it, but yeah, I like Corey Davis. I like Corey Davis today. Thoughts on Humphreys and Deontay Harris? Both are going to be low-owned, cheap wide receivers. I think both are solid pivots. If you have a chalky lineup and maybe want to get different, I think throwing one of those guys in there makes some sense. Now, with the Saints have a later game. So, Callaway is going to be very popular. Let's just say you have him in your lineup, for example, and the early games, you're not looking great, then what you would want to do would probably be pivot to Deontay Harris, at least give yourself a chance and hope like Deontay Harris smashes a low ownership. I do think he'll be the other receiver next to Callaway, but like they have little Jordan Humphrey, who could, he played pretty well in the preseason. Maybe he eats into the work a little bit, but in that last preseason game, it was Callaway and Deontay Harris starting. So that's my guess is Deontay Harris picked at the start. So yeah, he's going to be probably like a 1% owned cheap option that still has upside. Everyone's going to go Callaway. Maybe look to Deontay Harris and GPPs. And yeah, Adam Humphries, I think I'm fine with too. Play out of the slot. He's min price, right? I believe he's min price. He's also not going to get much ownership. Haven't heard his name talked about a lot, but no Curtis Samuel. I expect him to play a decent amount. Yeah, I think both are decent contrarian value plays. Mahomes, Kelsey, Hill, stack with GPP. It always goes lower owned than it should. And you can still make it work. Like there's still enough value to make that work. So yeah, I'm always good with that. Zach Wilson with Davis and more. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a low owned stack. Like I probably wouldn't do it for my one lineup, but again, you can make an argument for almost any quarterback in the slate. I'm looking more for the guys that have the rushing upside, though. I just want that floor ceiling. Hopkins and Mixon or Devontae and Mostert. Good question. I'll lean the first one, but it's close. My only concern with Mostert, obviously, his ownership, he might be a little bit over-owned now that we got that news of Trey Sermon. I think a lot of people are going to try to pivot to get him in. I'm not 100% sure Mostert gets a massive boost, right? It could be Hasty, it could be Elijah Mitchell. San Francisco likes going to a committee approach at running back, so does it really give Mostert that big of a boost? I think he might be a little bit over-owned. What's up, Patrick? Good morning, man. Let's get a big win today. All right, where else we at here? Devontae Adams or I'm going to say that's Tyreek Hill. I'll go Adams. Most are the best play in the slate now. So I think he's a solid play, but like I said, I think he might be a little bit over-owned now. It's that's the big news. I think people are going to overreact a little bit to it. Now, I still think, again, good play. They should be playing from ahead. San Francisco loves running the football. I just think there's a chance that it really doesn't change much for him. Hasty just gets the work, or it's Elijah Mitchell. And, Mostert's not the true bell cow. Okay to play Hurts with the Falcons D and cash. I probably wouldn't. I would probably just look to another punt defense. Thoughts on Humphries? As we just went over that, I think he's a nice, low-owned, contrarian wide receiver play. I think he plays the majority of the game. He's min-price. He'll play out of the slot. Definitely fine with Humphries. You look at Packer stack with Rodgers, Adams, Tunyon to bring back with Kamara and Callaway. Yeah, so you're going a full stack. That game, I think, is definitely stackable. So I don't know if a ton of people are going to use Rodgers, but yeah, for GPPs, that does make some sense. Goddard or Coughlin or Kyle Rudolph. So taking price in consideration, probably Coughlin. Thoughts on Waddle from Dolphins might get off a higher own. Yeah, no, I think Waddle's solid, right? He should be the number 2 wide receiver for Miami. He's 3.6. Where's Miami? Here we go. So, I'm in the New England side. Whoops. So yeah, he's 3.6. Again, number 2 right now in the depth chart with Will Fuller out for this game. This game in general is just I don't want a ton of exposure because not projected to be super high scoring. But yeah, I think he is one of the many cheap wide receivers you can look to. And I don't know if he's going to get that much ownership. Do you like Devontae Smith? Yeah. I like that Eagles-Falcons game a decent amount. Thoughts on Coughlin? Fine punt play at tight end, but I think there's enough value on this slate to get up to one of those 4K tight ends or go all the way up to Kelsey. Thoughts on Ferkser? Yeah, what's his price? He's pretty cheap too, right? Yeah, 3.2. I'm kind of just all right with it. Again, I like a little more. I like to spend up in tight end though today. Yeah, there's a lot of cheap tight ends you make the argument for, but I just think there's enough salary to get to one of those, one of the better tight ends. Holding a few spots for OBJ in stacks, 2 speculative. That's fine. Looks like he's good to go. Obviously, they kind of took it easy on him leading up this week. Rager Hurts, Sender, 3-1 stack. Yeah. And anyone on San Fran. I think Mostert's probably the guy I go to. My issue with the passing attack there for San Fran is they're going up against Detroit. they're like pretty big favorites, and we know San Francisco loves running the football. So if like the 49ers get off to like a 2-touchdown lead, it's probably going to be a lot of ground and pound. So really kind of staying away from the receivers for San Fran. Is it worth spending the minimum on defense? Yeah, like punting defense. I think that makes sense. Defense is a very high variance position, so I usually go to a cheap defense and kind of just fingers crossed they don't kill me. You think it's a must to get Travis at tight end, Travis Kelce? Not a must. For cash games, he's definitely one of the best plays, even for GPPs too. Very safe. I think you can definitely get him in. Again, there's a lot of cheap value today. DK, please thoughts on Calvin Ridley and Marvin Jones Jr. Like them both. I think Calvin Ridley is one of the better spend-up wide receivers, and Marvin Jones is one of the better cheap wide receiver plays too. So both good plays. Mixon or Mostert or Najee Harris. Of those three, it's probably Mixon. I don't think there's going to be much competition for touches for him. It's a solid matchup. Again, no more Giovanni Bernard. So Mixon's probably the guy I think looks the best there. I'm probably going to stay away from Troutman. Let's see. Some guys said Jerry Jeudy or T. Higgins. I think Higgins is going to be pretty popular today. I guess both will be pretty popular. I'll go Jeudy. I think he goes a little bit lower owned. But McLaurin and Mixon or Cook and Marvin Jones in cash. It's probably the second one in cash. Thoughts on Waddle? Yeah, I don't think he's going to be that popular of the cheap wide receiver plays, but definitely one of many viable options for sure. Do you like Rondale Moore? Yeah, both Rondale Moore and Elijah Moore I think will be somewhat popular. They're min-priced wide receivers. The issue you have with both, I guess, is rookies. So like we don't know exactly what we're going to see. Rondale Moore is number 4 on the depth chart, but we know the Cardinals like spreading it out. And Elijah Moore, the Jets are a little bit banged up. So both Moores are definitely play at min-price. Just punch defense with Atlanta. Hope 35 and no sacks. Maybe rushing quarterback. Okay. Robinson, Mixon, or Mostert. Yeah, of those three, it's probably a lean to Mixon, but it's close. Yeah, Mixon or Robinson's very close for me. The only concern, I guess, with Robinson is, like, does Urban Meyer troll us and, like, give Carlos Hyde actually a decent amount of work? You never know. Coaches do dumb things. Guys, again, we're at, 130 viewers, only 35 likes. Can we try to get that to, like, 60, 70 likes before I get out of here? I'll be live for another 12 or so minutes. Mahomes, CMC, Kamara, Corey Davis, Callaway, Jones, Conklin, Mixon, Steelers defense. Yeah, looks pretty decent. Do you like Mike Williams of the Chargers? Probably not for me. What's his price at? Yeah, it's just a little bit too pricey. 5.5. He's so injury prone too. If he was like 4K, I would have more interest. But yeah, too pricey for me. Let's see. Eric Ebron, I'll probably pass. Julio or James Robinson? James Robinson. Cousins, Kamara, Mixon, Jefferson, Higgins, Callaway. Okay, so I see what you're doing. A little Minnesota, Cincinnati stack. Again, I don't love Kirk Cousins at quarterback, but that game is projected to be higher scoring. Hawkinson, the only concern with Hawkinson is he's been a little bit banged up, but the Lions are terrible, and he's probably going to get a ton of targets. Yeah, he's one of the tight ends that look pretty solid today. Mike Davis or Chase Edmonds. We did get news that Gallman is inactive, so not a lot of competition for touches in that Falcons backfield, whereas Chase Edmonds has to deal with James Conner. I think I'd rather go Mike Davis. Ridley and Devontae Smith or Devontae Adams and Pittman. I think you're kind of split. I like both options a lot. I guess the second one, you like Michael Pittman Jr. Yeah, I think the Colts receivers look pretty solid here. This is a higher total game. Let's go over the Colts. Higher total game, and the receivers are all cheap. So, like, Pittman's the number 1. We have Pascal, Paris Campbell. Like, these guys are all cheap. 4-1, 3-7, 3-7. Seattle's defense is not good. And Colts are probably going to be playing from behind. So I think the Colts receivers look pretty good here. Yeah, and Pittman is, probably their de facto number 1 wide receiver. Should I play Andy? Which Andy? Hurts, Kamara, CMC, Callaway, Davis, Pittman. Yeah, that looks pretty solid. Gotta go. I'm not getting more Mostert, and I'm scared I'll go down the ship if he goes off. I just don't. I think people might overreact a little bit. I'm not saying Mostert's a bad play. I just think that's like the big news that we got, right? So, like, I just think people might overreact a little bit to it. Jerry Jeudy and Elijah Moore or Pittman and Marvin Jones. I think the second one's a little bit safer with Pittman and Marvin Jones. We know their roles, right? We know Pittman's going to be like the top wide receiver right now for the Colts. We know Marvin Jones is going to be like, a top option for Jacksonville. Elijah Moore is just a little bit more risk involved. Is going the 49ers defense too expensive and not worth it? No, I think it's fine. Again, I really 95% of the time I just punt defense, so I'm not going to spend up on defense today. Juju Smith, 2 touchdowns today, calling it. Yeah, if that's your gut, go with it. Again, always go with your gut. Like, don't let me talk you guys off anything. I'm not really on Juju Smith, but if you're feeling that, go with it. Ryan Davis, Damian Harris, Ridley, Devontae Smith, Pittman, Kelsey, Pitts, trying to get contrarian. That's pretty contrarian. You're fading all the spent up running backs. I think you can get different without getting that different. At least for me, I think that's too contrarian. What do you think of OBJ? Fine bring back in like a Chiefs stack. I think he still has some upside. That mid-range, like he's kind of in the mid-range, right? That mid-range is going to go pretty low on 5.4. Yeah, like the mid 6K to like 5K range wide receiver. Like everyone in this range is going to be low owned. So like it does make sense for GPPs to maybe get to one of these guys. Like I don't think there's going to be like anyone in this range that's going to be popular. So yeah, that mid-range wide receiver, kind of again mid 6K to 5K range. I think everyone's going to be low owned. Hawkinson today, yeah, I think Hawkinson's solid. Lions are terrible, and he's probably going to get a ton of targets if he can stay healthy. Obviously, he's been a little bit banged up. Let's see, we got Kyler, Najee, Mixon, Ridley, Odell, Marvin Jones, Pitts. Saints thoughts. So you're running a naked Kyler, right? So Ridley, Odell, Marvin Jones. If it's tournaments, I probably don't run a naked Kyler. Coughlin or Tyler Kroft, GPP. Again, I don't love punting tight end. I guess Coughlin, but I just think you can get to one of those like 4K tight ends or go all the way up. Any good prize picks? The over on Mahomes passing on, so it was 1 yard or whatever. I haven't looked anything else recently, but yeah, make sure to take advantage of that one for sure. Gaskin or Mostert? I'll go Mostert there, even though again I think he's going to be pretty popular. Gibson, Mixon, J-Rob, a couple hundred more than Mostert. Yeah, like that's right. You can pivot off again. Mostert might be a little bit overowned. That's my one worry. AJ Green too expensive. He's cheap. He's 3.8, right? 3.8K. Pass heavy team, Arizona. Like the highest total or second highest total right now in the week. He'll probably be pretty low owned. If you think AJ Green still has a little bit left in the tank, then I'm good at going there. Anyone in Julio Jones? I don't think Julio's going to be that popular. I don't. I think, this game in general, I think is going to be popular to stack Arizona, Tennessee. But I don't know if Julio gets a ton of ownership. Because you have what? A.J. Brown is right in his price range, right? Yeah, A.J. Brown's at 7-1. So I think what people are going to do if they stack that game, they're just going to look to A.J. Brown. But yeah, Julio Jones probably comes in a lot lower ownership. Thoughts on Devontae Adams? Definitely one of the better spun-up wide receivers. Which one of the Moore brothers of Elijah Moore versus Rondale Moore? I don't have a super strong take on that. Both rookies. Rondale Moore's in the better offense in Arizona. So I guess I would say he probably has a little bit more upside. But he's still listed number 4 on the depth chart. So we'll see. Again, it's a risk week 1 for sure. Thoughts on McCole Hardman? A little bit pricey for me. He's 4.8, I think. 4.8. The number 2 right now. I guess he's a fine low-owned play, but yeah, a little pricey. A.J. Brown or Hopkins? I would rather go to Hopkins for A.J. Brown. Mixon or J-Rob? Yeah, small lean to Mixon, but those two are pretty close for me. Yeah, Elijah Moore is going to be popular. I'm fine with that. Again, Jets offense, he's probably going to be the number 2 wide receiver. I think, again, both Moores are pretty solid. Rodgers, Adams stack popular or not? No, I don't think a lot of people play Aaron Rodgers today. So that's a lower owned stack I'm fine with. Waddle or Marvin, GPPs. I just think I still lean to Marvin. I like the game a little bit better there. Ridley or Thielen? Ridley. Do you like more from the Cardinals? Yeah. I think, the only downside is, again, he's a rookie. How much work does he get? But he's a speedster. He's the Flatman price. He's in an offense where Arizona loves airing it out. Russ plus Lockett pairing, then pay up for running backs. Yeah, I mean, I like his Seattle stack almost every single week. And the reason is, where the targets are going. It's Metcalf and Lockett. And most likely one of these guys is probably going for like 25 plus fantasy points. So, I always like the Seattle stack. Like, it's, again, where the targets are going. All right, guys, I'll be live for another couple minutes here, so make sure to leave any last-minute questions in here. Let's see. Arizona Cardinals secondary is awful. Hopefully, they might have a great game. Yeah, that game's going to be popular, right? That game's going to be popular. Do you like Rondo Moore? Okay, we run over that. Yeah, Rondo Moore is definitely solid. Terrence Marshall thoughts? Yeah, so he's one. I kind of like Terrence Marshall as a low-owned, min-priced wide receiver. He looked good in the preseason. Like, he was a guy who played a lot in preseason DFS. Right now, he's number 3 on the depth chart. And they said they want to get him the ball. So I think he flies under the radar. I don't think he's being talked about enough. I like him as a pivot, actually a lot. So, yeah, good question. I'm actually very high on Marshall as a contrarian value play. I just don't think he's going to get that much ownership. I think both Moores get more ownership. Obviously, Callaway's going to get more ownership. I think Marvin Jones gets more ownership. I think Terrence Marshall flies a little bit under the radar. Now, again, he's a rookie. There's still some risk, but he's a number 3 wide receiver, and I think he's got some upside. Why is Randall Cobb being overlooked? I think it's just because the Packers have 4 wide receivers, secondly. So, like, what's the rotation behind Devontae going to look like, right? It's Lazard, MVS, and Cobb. So I think that's why is they have 3 wide receivers kind of playing for 2 spots, obviously, in that offense. GP lineup, Russell Wilson, Mostert, James Robinson, Metcalf. Okay, yeah, again, the Seattle stack I'm always good with for tournaments. For this lineup, I have Murray at quarterback, Jags D. Mostert, this lineup, I have Kyler Murray at quarterback, Jags D. Mostert and Chenault, or Falcons D. Hopkins. You might have to ask that again, sorry. Do you like Rager? Yeah, I think the Eagles wide receiver, like everyone in this, basically all the targets of Philly are cheap. Devontae Smith, Rager, Quez Watkins, those should be the top 3 wide receivers. And both tight ends are relatively cheap. Again, I prefer Ertz to Goddard. So, Hurts is going to be popular. Now, I do think you can run a naked Jalen Hurts if you want to. You don't necessarily have to pair him with anyone. But, yeah, the Eagles wide receivers are cheap. I think, again, that game has, you can definitely stack it up. Atlanta stack or Seattle stack. Small lean to the Atlanta stack, but I like both. Thoughts on Keenan Allen? He might catch 10 balls. Yeah, so same thing I'll say about Seattle with the Chargers. You know where the targets are going to. Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler. Now, that game and not projected to be super high scoring, so it's a tougher matchup, but you're also going to get pretty low ownership. Interest in MVS. I'm probably going to stay away from the secondary Packers receivers. I want to see what those snaps kind of look like for MVS, Lazard, Cobb. I'm not sure how that works out, so I'm probably just going to stay away week 1. Okay. AJ Green, low and pivot off Moore. Yeah, again, like I think Rondo Moore is going to need a ton of ownership or a decent amount of ownership. So AJ Green's a nice pivot there. You're going to pay a little bit more. Palmer, too speculative, a wide receiver 3. Yeah, I'm not going to go there. Yeah, I think it's a little bit too risky for me. How low owned do you think Henry will be compared to the other running backs? I think he'll be pretty low owned. I'm not a big Derrick Henry guy. If you watch my NFL content, I really don't like playing running backs that don't have a lot of PPR upside. But he's in a game environment that's projected to be very high scoring, and if they can get off to an early lead, you're probably going to see a lot of Derrick Henry. Holmes, Gibson, Robinson, Deontay Harris. Yeah, so again, Deontay Harris, nice pivot off Callaway, chalk. Okay. It's a risky line. I like Tannehill and AJ Brown running back with D-Hop. I like it, yeah. I think it's going to be a popular stack, but I think it looks like one of the better stacks for sure. Ferkser, Rudolph, I guess Ferkser, Matt Ryan. I'm in a dome. Good with Matt Ryan stack. Yeah, I think, again, that game has a good amount of upside. All right, guys, that'll do it for me. Appreciate you guys coming to check out the live stream. Good luck week 1. So excited. Enjoy these games. I'll see you back here later tonight. I'm going to be live for the Sunday Night Football show on Slate. I have a video up breaking down the Sunday Night Football show on Slate already, so make sure to check that out on my channel. Again, I'll be live tonight as well. So enjoy these games, guys, and I'll see you all tonight for the Sunday Night Football slate.